Hey, it's Chef D again. So I thought I would try something different. I'm going to do breakfast. So I'm gonna do a French toast casserole. I'm gonna do a pecan bourbon praline sauce for it. I'm also gonna do some oven baked bacon, and I'm gonna do some scrambled eggs with chives. And it's gonna be the creamiest eggs you've ever had. So let's get going. So for now, I've already started cutting up the bread. I like to get either brioche bread or sourdough, something that's gonna soak up the liquid. And I just cut them 3 ways and then cut them in cubes. This is a dish that you can definitely make ahead. You will soak it for a minimum of 20 minutes, but you can soak it as long as 24 hours. So I like the fact that you can do this. So what I've done is you need about 8 large eggs, and I kind of whisk them lightly because once you start adding in the liquid, it starts sloshing around when you're trying to whisk it. So I have a cup of half and half, or you can do a cup of heavy whipping cream, and I have 2 cups of regular milk. So I like to get the homogenized milk. You can use low fat or no fat or skim milk if you want. I tend to like it because it's a little bit thicker, not so watery. So I'm gonna go ahead, add it to my eggs. And I also have some vanilla. I actually love this Farideh. It's pretty good vanilla. You wanna get about 2 cupfuls. I like vanilla extract. And I have 2 tablespoons of sugar, along with a half a teaspoon of cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And so I'm gonna go ahead, put that in there, and you're going to just kind of mix it together. And be careful because it is gonna slosh. That's okay. When you're doing this, you just want to be careful, but you want to try to incorporate it as much as possible. You don't have to use a mixer. That's gonna get all crazy as well. But this is pretty mixed. It's got the clumps, but that's okay. It's all gonna get soaked up by the bread. The longer you soak it or you leave it, the better it's gonna be. But if you're in a hurry, 20 minutes is all you need. And you're just gonna pour it over. I actually just love this. Is so good, especially when you have company and they're gonna be over for breakfast. This is a nice dish to do. You wanna press it down and make sure that all the bread is gonna get the liquid. I know it's a little messy, but it's good. It's almost like planning your food. So these are pretty much catching all of it. Don't forget, I'm sorry, didn't tell you, preheat your oven to 350. So it's basically gonna look like this. Ooh, I don't wanna do it too, but it has all the cinnamon, the sugar, nutmeg, and you're gonna put it in the oven for 40 minutes. Or if you've had it in the refrigerator and you wanna just pop it straight in there, you're gonna have to keep it in there a little bit longer, probably about 60 minutes, maybe a little bit more, and it also depends on your oven. Me personally, I would suggest that you do bring it down to room temperature a little bit, just because of the glass. You don't want it to break because you went from extreme cold to extreme hot. Okay guys, so we're gonna pop this in the oven for about 40 minutes. And I'm gonna set the timer on it just because I wanna set the timer on it. That's just to make sure for me that I'm not gonna burn my food. So we're gonna set it for 40 minutes, set it and forget it. All right guys, it's been in there for about 40 minutes. So we're getting ready to take it out of the oven. So that's what it looks like. So that is your French toast casserole. So we're getting ready to start working on the pecan bourbon praline sauce, and we'll do our oven baked bacon. Okay guys, so now we're gonna do the oven baked bacon. I've already started putting some here. You don't want them to overlap, which this might overlap right here because you end up using the whole package of bacon. Here we go, I got it. They're gonna shrink, yes, but you don't want them to overlap too much. Okay, so you're gonna put it in the oven for 18 to 22 minutes. You should be able to look at it and see how crisp you want it. Let's put it in the oven, but I need to wash my hands really quick. All right, I'm gonna set my timer just because I like to set my timer. So I'm just gonna put it for 18 minutes. Next, we're gonna start on our pecan bourbon praline sauce. So let's get it. Now we're gonna do our pecan bourbon praline sauce. So first thing you wanna do is you wanna get a cup of pecans and you wanna toast them. Only for a couple of minutes. You can do it in the oven for about 6 to 8 minutes just to kind of release the oils. But I'm gonna do it over the stove. Why? Because I have my bacon in there and I don't wanna like open the oven too much. So you're just gonna go ahead, turn it on. It literally only takes a couple of minutes. You don't need any oil, just put it in the pan. Pecans have oils in it, just naturally. So you just wanna make sure you're toasting them for just a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, you're gonna get a saucepan. You are going to get about a half a cup of heavy cream, about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. You're gonna get 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda. You're gonna need about a cup of brown sugar. You're going to need about 3 tablespoons of cheap bourbon, and you're gonna get about 3 tablespoons of vanilla extract. You're also gonna get about 1/4 of a cup of a light corn syrup. Of course, it's Karo. A trick to this is if you have any cooking spray like Pecan, you spray the inside of your cup, and that makes the syrup easier to come out rather than sticking to the cup. So that's pretty much it. And of course, butter. So basically 1 whole stick of butter. I have it melting very slowly. And we'll put this together in just a minute as soon as I toast up my pecans. And they're chopped, but you can do whole. I like it chopped, that way I can sprinkle it over and just have a bit of crunch everywhere instead of having whole pecans. Yeah, these are pretty much done. Just, yeah, see the oils. It's smelling quite nutty. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn these off. They're probably gonna like continue to cook just because it's on a burner. And we'll get started on our syrup in just a second. Okay, I've turned this on. You wanna turn it high. Everything's gonna go kind of fast now. So I'm gonna go ahead. I have the heavy cream in there with the cinnamon. I'm putting in my brown sugar and putting in my Karo syrup and my butter. Gonna mix this really good. So now what you do is you add all those ingredients, the syrup, the brown sugar, the butter, the cinnamon, the heavy cream. You're gonna add all this together. You bring it to a boil, then you lower the heat, and you wanna stir it constantly, but you wanna do this about 3 minutes. Once you've done that, you're gonna remove it from the heat, add the baking soda. So it's been about 3 minutes. I'm gonna turn this heat down. Once you add in the baking soda, stir it in really good, and then you're gonna add in your bourbon. So I've had the baking soda, it's in here, and it's actually kind of foaming up. I don't know if you can see that, it's foaming up. I'm gonna add in the bourbon. So what I did was I put bourbon and the vanilla in at the same time, just kind of mixed it up. And now I'm about to add this in. And I'm also about to add in my pecan. One got away from me. Woo! All right. And just stir that really well and see how it's kind of bubbling up. Now I am going to let this cool slightly, and then you just pour it over the French toast. So now we're about to get working on our creamy scrambled eggs with chive. So while the sauce is cooling, I took the bacon out, so I'm gonna go ahead and just pat the excess grease off. And there you have it. That is oven baked bacon. So now I'm gonna pour my pecan sauce over the French toast, and be ready to serve it. Ooh, my gosh. Now what you can do is you can wait until you serve it and then pour it on top. But I just wanted to soak into the bread. Just kind of spread it around. So when I cut into it, it's gonna soak into it. I do have some left over, and I'm gonna go ahead and once I plate it, maybe put some around it just to be cute. So next we're gonna do our scrambled eggs. Okay, so now we're gonna do the creamy scrambled eggs with chives. So I turned the stove on. I sprayed it with a little bit of Pam, but I have about 2 tablespoons of butter. I have 6 eggs that I'm going to scramble. So I have a secret, and I'm gonna share with you my secret. My secret is to make it creamy, sour cream. It sounds crazy, but try it. If you don't like it, let me know. But guarantee a teaspoon of sour cream will help get it creamy. So we're gonna scramble these eggs. You don't wanna overbeat them. You don't want them to start getting airy and change. So you just wanna kind of lightly scramble. So what's gonna happen is when I put it in to the pan, I am going to get it a wet curdle. Sounds kind of gross, but what you're gonna do is once it gets to a wet curdle, then you're gonna turn the heat off because it's still gonna cook. And you're gonna add in your sour cream and then your chives. So this is pretty good. Medium heat. You also do not add the salt and pepper until after, because you don't want this to start cooking it out. So I'm gonna add this in now. I'm just gonna kind of mix it around, start scrambling it. See how it's starting to form? It's starting to get the little curdles. It's not quite ready yet. Keep going. Just want to keep mixing it. You do want to have your salt and pepper ready, because once you put the sour cream in, then put the salt and pepper, and then you can put your chives and then just start mixing it. So in just a second, I'm gonna turn the stove off. You see how it's getting the curdles? You don't want this to cook too fast. You want to have control of it so that when you add the sour cream, it's gonna make it creamy. And it's not like you have scrambled eggs and then you're adding sour cream. So this is almost done. And I promise you, you will have the creamiest scrambled eggs. There we go. So now, I'm gonna let this cook a little bit more on this side. I don't know why it's kind of cooking on one side, but that's okay. I'll just move it. And then you'll be able to be ready to plate. So, I'll turn this off. Gonna add my sour cream in. Stir that in. You're gonna just add in your salt and pepper now. And mind you, it's still cooking. Even though I've turned off the heat, I hear it. It's literally still cooking. And I'm gonna add in my chives. Now we're just gonna mix this. Now, if you want to cook it a little bit more, you can, but you definitely didn't want to have the heat on at that very moment while you're putting in the sour cream, but it's actually still cooking, so I'm actually gonna just let it keep cooking as well. I'm gonna turn on just for a second, a split second. Because I don't want to fry my eggs, I just want to scramble them. Now, I know some of my folks want their eggs all nice and hard, but it really takes away from it. If you've ever had like French omelets, you know that they don't cook it all the way. It gives it a creamy consistency, but if my folks decide they want it hard, this is a good way to still have it creamy, is to add the sour cream. So I turn that off and oh my God, yep, it's scrambling, it's done. Now we're gonna be ready to plate. Okay guys, so this is the finished product. This is a French toast casserole with Pecan bourbon praline sauce, along with some oven baked bacon and some creamy scrambled eggs with chives. I hope you'll be able to try this dish. It is very decadent. It's good if you have company that you could do a French toast casserole, and it's very good. It's very good. We need scratch and sniff for TV screens so y'all can smell this. Is so amazing. So I hope you guys do it. See you next time.